Okay, here's what I would like to see happen with the maps in Tribes 3 Rivals, working alongside the current design choices and the developers' concerns for the game. These concerns are as follows: keeping maps in competitive mode small for 5v5 gameplay, and keeping the players close for more engagements. As a note, higher player count public play is announced, don't worry about that. Then, keeping players capped in speed and low to the ground to prevent runaway cappers, particularly to avoid stand-to-stands. And also keeping distances short to avoid long standoff confrontations. Finally, keeping maps beginner-friendly by not overcomplicating the methods to gain speed and preventing the newbies from getting lost in the Wilder Zone. Now, my first issue is that each map currently has a single level of height. This means that each hill returns to the same bottom point. When you're skiing and you stop in between the hills, the only way to regain speed is to jet up a hill. Otherwise, you're dead in the water. The key word here is potential energy. Imagine your height as a resource, spending it to ski down, converting it into speed. Because every hill stands alone, you can never gain speed just by skiing around, except when you're starting off spawn. This can be solved by having a purling noise as the baseline for the terrain. This is the stuff that Tribes 1 used, and sometimes you can even see dangerous crossing magically emerging from one of these terrains. This provides a layered terrain of intersecting valleys instead of lone hills. If you place the base and spawns on the mid-level, you can gain speed by simply skiing to another area that has a downward slope rather than going up and down each time. Now, I've taken this purling noise, smoothed it out, scaled it down to 265 resolution, so it's nice and smooth for smooth skiing. Let's go see it in action. Okay, here we are in a unnamed Unreal Engine project with skiing enabled and some jetting as well. We spawn in a mid-level plateau here, which completely obscures vision, so line of sight blocking. And let's do some skiing. So again, this is intended to be baseline terrain. This is what you get for free in the Perlin generator. You can use this as, well, as a basis for your map. And look at this. I haven't jetted yet. I have not jetted. I'm jetting a little bit here to get to the next bowl. And you have valleys that's simply direct movement with very little engagement indeed. I'm going to jet up a little bit here to get to this next area. Each time, line of sight blocking, you are in your own bowl and you are rewarded for jetting up a little bit going into the next area. This terrain itself, again, comes from Tribes 1 and is a capable map in of itself. This is of course non-mirrored or anything like that, but you can ski on this very simply with very little resources. I did scale this to specifications of Tribes 3. It is a small little map, but this noise can be as big or small as you want. The proportions and the inherent math behind the terrain always remains the same. You just have to smooth it out or rough it up the way you like it, and it is always usable, because this is what the core of the game was designed around back in 1998. 1998, should I say. Anyway, there we are. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. There we are, a little bit of an overview there of said map. Off of the basic principles present in Perlin Noise, we start designing the map. We consider the flow of the different plateaus, and we balance the potential energy. I also like to do a flip diagonal mirror to prevent cappers from having to learn two sides worth of routes. This one in particular, I made on stream in in less than an hour. The VOD's still available if you want to see my process there. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's not a difficult process once everything is in place. With this, I'd like to discuss the second major issue, which is balancing the movement of 3 weight classes and multiple roles in a single terrain. Here, I like to do this by forcing people to spend speed and resources at appropriate locations. This is why we try to divide the map into travel areas and combat areas. Where travel and combat intersects, we hope we can create chasing. Here's a quick overview of this map. As you can see, the diagonal mirror here, fully functional. And let's just grab a screenshot real quick and I'll show you the intended use of this. There we are. Let's circle, I would say, a base on the midfield, or not the midfield, middle high ground, let's say. There we are. From that, we have, well, let's go with purple. We have potential routes coming down here into the low ground, and we have one that if you use a bit more, you come off spawn and are at the same height as the spawn point, really. Come down again in this bowl. Here you would not lose any potential energy just going down. You would jet up a little bit and make that rather easily, and then come into the other side. Again, same place, it is mirrored, so you come to the same location only from the other side. There, we can also illustrate what the offense, or at least the midfielders, would do. You would come down here, you can even ski here and get up there, or use more resources and get up there. You are then rewarded with a plateau here and a lower midfield here for clustering purposes. But maybe we should just look at it in action. Alright, welcome to the wonderful world of Sandbox. I made this map, this is the map. We have what I suspect is the base area here. Line of sight blocked from most areas. A nice little hill in the back there, but let's go to the spawn point, where normally we would have a spawn point. There would be different ones, of course, as well. So we get here, we see a nice little valley there, also some big hills that make a ramp, let's say, going into the base area, but still blocked from line of sight because it's coming from lower. And we have another end there, and then the raised midfield. Please note that this is around the size, I think, of the Tribes Rivals maps. It looks bigger because, well, the scaling is a little different, and of course, because I was making it up along the way. Also, of course, there is much less dead space here. There are fewer open spaces because, of course, we filled everything in with terrain. So, here we go. Let's pretend to be an offense player here. We go down, ski up a little bit. That's all I did. I jetted up a tiny bit. We come to this little precursor area here, which in itself is again line of sight blocked and everything. We don't have the speed because I stopped to watch, so let's go around here and move in to what is the midfield plateau. This is at the same height as the base itself, but this is the midfield. We have plenty of opportunity for activities here, and it is again closed off from everything else. But from this we have access to most of the midfield. Then we crest over this hill, jet up a little bit, let's ski around, and we are back, but now in the other end of the base area here. This is the spawn hill, I believe, and here we are. So this is a bit, let's navigate this and let's do a quick ski here. Let's go into one of the capper trenches, as I like to call them. No particular reason. A little bit of jets, but we are really, I'm not jetting, I'm not doing anything. A little bit of jet now to make me hit that there, and voila. And again, I get from the plateaus, get my potential energy, moving along. I've skied on this once. I made this a few days ago, so I'm guessing where I'm going here. A little bit of jets here, but again, I get height, or I get potential energy just from the plateaus shifting. So again, moving up here, and what is this? Whoop. Oh, look. So we're in another bowl, jetting up, not using any resource or whatever, and again we drop with some speed and managed to continue on with very little jetting indeed. Going to make a curve here, try and not get to the map barrier. But this is the kind of terrain, so that's the outside. And then of course we can return back to the midfield, use the lower trench to get a nice amount of speed and jet all the way and land here. All of this beautifully interconnected without too much peaks and problematic terrain. Here we fly into the sky. And I'm cheating a little bit because I have unlimited jets, but I didn't use them that much. There we are. 2 barrier hills, spawn points, bases, everything. Beautiful. So, in closing, these terrains feel incredibly rewarding to play on. The natural flow of them makes it easy to ski and navigate without losing too much speed, which allows you to pay more attention to combat or more attention to your route. I believe we have a perfect opportunity here to have this be the first step towards creating a set of archetypes from which we can keep the terrains natural and fun to ski on without making things trivial for the high-end player. So, with that, if any of you would like to see an in-depth look at my design process or tools, perhaps you wish to join the ever esoteric world of tribal landscaping, there's already the one stream, but I'm more than happy to share more, so leave a comment for that if you like to. But with that, I've said my piece. Thanks for watching everyone, and see you in the next video.